and it is time now for the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Good morning, Jerry. Merry Christmas.
Well, good morning, and the same to everyone, and certainly everybody that is listening. And wish everybody a great holiday here. And I got a lot of Christmas spirit going on around here right now. So fresh off of that big win over beating Tampa, it's a great Christmas Eve.
Do you find are you a Christmas music guy?
Yes, I am. I'm a very Christmas scene right now. I'm talking to you from my table at my home, and it's beautiful around here. Got a lot of people around here moving around. We have very early Christmas that starts with our family today, and it's just an exciting time. Makes you really appreciate all that is good and all that to be thankful for.
We know the LeSueur peas for Thanksgiving. Is there a Christmas dish that you like to have?
Boy, you got a great memory. I actually had some of those last night with our Christmas dinner that we had with our family. But listen, we do, and it's really good, fresh, we call it side meat. It's fresh pork that's basically fried, and eggs, that type of thing. And it's a great tradition. And kind of the saying around this place among some of the men, I've got to even out my eggs with my pork, and it takes me about an hour to get that done to make it all come out right. So basically, fun time, exciting time. I was privileged to be a part of great tradition growing up, and a great family atmosphere, and this is just expanded on that.
Jerry, I imagine there couldn't have been a better early Christmas gift than getting the win over Tampa Bay on Sunday. Talk a little bit about that game, and then just what you feel like you've maybe learned about your team and your head coach over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Well, I've always felt that a team is evolving. It's never the same. It's never the same from week to week. It's a moving entity, and just by the very nature of availability of players. But then you've got also the growth of talent level of players, figuratively right before your eyes during a season. And that's a lot of repetition, a lot of weeks are going by, and you have an evolving of a talent level. And, boy, that's good to see, and you see it out there, and you can see it in 3 and 4 years play. I'm told that Tom Landry used to say, don't ever judge a defensive lineman until his 3rd year. You just haven't seen the evolving of his talent level or his competitive level. So that's great to see, and so it never stays the same. And that's why you can be playing well in the earliest parts, have a couple of changes, whether it be injury or just have a player come forward. You saw it this year in Overshawn. And if you looked at his whole 2 years, you saw someone that obviously it was exciting to think about his potential when you drafted him. But, boy, was he just coming on right before your eyes and making outstanding plays and becoming real impactful on the defensive side of the ball. It's unfortunate that obviously we all know that he had that injury. But the point is, that happens to young players. You can see sometimes not leveling off, but leveling off or a little bit of a challenge for some of the older veteran players. That goes with the territory. And so that thing's all, you try to make that all come up where you're playing your best when you get in those playoffs or you're getting a chance to get in the big game. But all of it is brought back to the subject of we evolved this year. And about the time that we were, I'm going to say, overcoming early some of the price we paid to inject rookies in the offensive line, which is always challenging and going to be challenges just with mistakes and the learning curve. About the time that I thought that we were evolving into a better execution on all 3 sides of the ball, including special teams, then you had the key injuries set in on us, and That's every team deals with them. You know, you don't know where it's coming, but it will come, and you hope that it doesn't hit you in places other than where you have a little depth. But bottom line, I can't tell you how proud I am of the way that the coaching staff, led by Mike McCarthy, the way the leadership on this team, and really proud of these young players. They just are growing mentally and physically by leaps and bounds. Makes me think we've got outstanding future ahead of us.
Jerry Jones joined us here at 105 through the Fan. Do you think that was the most physical game y'all have played this year?
Well, we were against a physical team to begin with, one that was very impressive. If they decide to not let you run, it's going to be difficult for anybody to run against them, and that takes a physicalist to do that, and that's what occurred. And I was so impressed with the way we adjusted, the way Rush adjusted, the way Mike adjusted, the way the offensive line was able to give some protection there to Rush. I was very, very impressed, and it gives me real excitement as we look ahead for our future, because we're working with a makeshift offensive line that really is playing a lot of players, and that can be challenging the day of the game or day of week of the game, but on the long run, it's a good thing. And so I'm just pleased with the way the team, I think I said after the game, it looked like that team was out there fighting for the last spot in the playoffs or a home field advantage. And so you can't ask for more than that. Boy, it shows me that there's something really worth maintaining and keeping on course is the ethos of the team, the competes of the team. You get somebody or some groups of people that have been in foxholes and have actually experienced it. That's a tremendous asset if you're looking at a characteristic to go forward with. You get in somebody that's been in foxhole that's also been shot at and hit. That's a real characteristic, shot at and hit. This team has been shot at and hit in many facets of it, and are still the people you want to be in the foxhole with.
You know, Jerry, you mentioned there that, after things have been eliminated, they still came out there and they played really hard. And I know you mentioned after the game that you and Mike McCarthy had spoken right after the news had become official that you guys had been eliminated, and that it was just it was a depressing conversation. You guys were both upset about it. What was that conversation like with Mike, and how did you guys talk about the weeks ahead?
Well, I think that just the reality was there. It was in the room. It was right there. We weren't going to be able to advance into the playoffs. And that's a primary goal of the team. And when the reality of it soaked in, you mean there's no way, there's not a 1% way, that type of thinking. And I really was, it was just noted that you could cut it with a knife in our private conversation that we were having. And so that's bucking up. But the big thing is it transferred over to those players. And, boy, they don't tell those players they weren't playing for a playoff game. They were out there as physical as I've seen us play, gaining on it, exciting. And that's really it's really a great sign here. I'll never forget, we won one football game my first year in the NFL, 1989. One game. And I get a call, and it's Al Davis and John Madden on the other end. And, of course, they were buddies, and they might have had a television personality to everybody, but they were real buddies, and Madden had coached early for Al Davis and the Raiders. And they said, we just wanted to call and tell you, boy, keep your head up, don't get discouraged. You didn't lose the team, so to speak. And I said, guys, thank you for calling. I know what you're doing, and I really appreciate it. I said, but guess what? I burned all my ships at sea. I can't go back. And so I have nothing left to do but go forward. and I'm going forward, and I'm just excited about being in the future of the NFL. But that's the point, is that it kept a level of, we're going to get better, we're going to give it everything we've got to get better. That's what that call meant when I got it from Al Davis and John Madden 30-something years ago.
Jerry, when you talk about like the foxhole and having the right guy, are you saying that you're kind of leaning towards Mike returning next year?
We're just talking about what is positive right now. We started the conversation talking about how good a job, I think, with the circumstances that we've been dealing with, how good a job that the coaching staff is doing. It's led by Mike McCarthy. And that's what we're doing. I'm saying just what I'm saying. I'm very impressed with how this team and how it's playing and the level of tenacity. And I'm impressed with the fact that we've got a lot of young players that are getting a lot of experience out there. The future looks bright there with those players.
Jerry, and we're talking with Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones here on 105 through the Fan. Jerry, you mentioned and have before that I think your exact phrase was, you said, nothing in my body language has told you guys what I'm thinking either way, with Mike's contract coming up. And so that's not been anything you've ever discussed with us. But do you and Mike ever have conversations about the future, even generally or just kind of broadly?
Yes, we do. And it's implied in every conversation we have about a position, about a player. You're talking about most of the time when you're discussing a situation on this football team, you're talking about the future. Now, the future might be the next game, or it could be next month, but it's always not so much dwelling on what happened last Sunday or what happened 2 weeks ago. Not so much there. That's a reference point, and that's what you've got to make a decision on. But all that counts is the next minute and going forward from there without being any way. The future is where our decision-making is. And, yes, we do, and we talk about the future.
Jerry Jones joins here, 105 through the Fan. Now that the team is officially eliminated, do you expect or want to see Trey Lance play a little bit more or all of the last two games?
Well, listen to me closely. The very best chance that we have to make on the next play or the next series, the very best chance we have to make those plays like the ones we were making out there against Tampa, and the combination of execution as well as just the effort that's going on out there. That's what I want every play to be. And so the people that go out there are the ones that I want to give us the best chance to play like Tampa and play our best plays ever play. Those interceptions, those ripping that ball out on turnovers, those really great passes by Rush. That's what I want on every play, and there's no offsetting that with looking at how any player might play over these next two ball games. That doesn't trump making the play, making the first down.
Jerry,
you need to be out there.
Jerry, you mentioned last week you told us you felt like Cooper Rush has done a great job putting you guys in certain looks for the run game. You mentioned just there how he's done a good job, in the pass game recently. Hindsight's obviously always 20/20, but when Cooper plays as well as he has, does that ever make you feel like maybe I should have waited out Dak's extension a little longer?
Well, no, not at all. What it shows you is if players, as an individual, speaking of, if they're the right stuff, they get better the more reps they have. Cooper Rush will get better the more reps he has from here. And that's a critical. It just reminds you that when you start with a player that hasn't had many reps for whatever the reason, just his entire career and early in it, or whether he's been injured and out of commission for several games, the more reps they can take, the better they will get. And that's what you're seeing with Cooper Rush.
Jerry, CeeDee Lamb has talked about just how banged up he's been. He's played really well the last couple weeks. Has there been any consideration for you guys for like, hey, now that this is done, maybe we just let that shoulder heal a little bit, or are you going to leave it up to the player and just say, hey, if he's feeling like he can go, we're going to let him go?
The latter. We'll leave it up to the player. He'll certainly be advised by our medical people, but absolutely in this particular case, leave it up to the player, and we'll be monitoring that carefully.
Jerry, we have Christmas Day football tomorrow. It's going to be on Netflix, and I know during the Jake Paul fight there was problems with the streaming. Are you confident? Is the league confident that those problems have been worked out?
Well, let me say this. You couldn't have asked for a better trial run than to have done that Jake Paul fight because they got to see a lot of issues when you have, I bet they had 3 times the amount of viewers that they might have anticipated. Mm-hmm. And they worked during the game, so to speak, or they worked in the fray to make adjustments on the run that will serve them well in anything we're doing Christmas Day. You couldn't have asked, and they couldn't have been smarter than to have had an event like that, have the kind of viewership they had for it, and work out the kinks, so to speak, with all that viewership. I'm very confident that we'll have a great viewing and great presentation of those Christmas games on Netflix. They are absolutely doing one of the best jobs of any area of sport or entertainment that I've ever seen. And they're developing and using technology and developing programming, and at the same time developing their business model right before our eyes. You're seeing a multifaceted birth of really something very innovative and very new, this streaming. And it's got to be done in a way that creates a model that works so you can go again, a financial model. And all of this has been, over the last several years, nothing about it has been stable. It's all an evolving, a birthing, if you will. And boy, I really have such admiration for that Netflix bunch because they are truly groundbreakers for this industry.
Do you envision Christmas Day games, regardless of the day, moving forward, even on like a Tuesday, which seems to be the only day that you guys haven't played a game in the league?
Well, I think that Christmas Day is Christmas Day, and it doesn't wait around for what day it's on. And so we want to be there on Christmas Day, and that's what happened this year, is because it falls, that's when we're there. And so I would think the future is whatever day it's on, we're going to be there on Christmas with the present lay of the land.
Jerry, last one for you here. Obviously, it is Christmas Eve today, and I know it was actually, I think, 35 years ago today when you've talked about the low point of the '89 season when all the toilets froze at Texas Stadium. But do you have any other big memories or things that you look back on associated with Christmas during your time in the league?
Oh, I love we went to Tennessee, and during our years there with Troy and Emmett, and we go to Tennessee on Christmas night or Christmas Eve night, and I had these porcelain Santa Claus made, and they were just magnificent. I had no idea they'd turn out so nice, and every one of them was a treasure, a keepsake, like a piece of art. And I had them made because I'd planned to go around to each player's room and be Santa Claus about the time they got in their rooms and getting ready for Christmas Day game. And I got to be Santa Claus and take those around. And I have I have letters and presents from those players today, remembering coming in those rooms and presenting them their Santa Claus.
Hey, Jerry, we appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have a great holiday. And then good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, guys, and the same to you. Let's enjoy our life. Thank you.